Yeah, a car hoist would definitely make working on the E92 a lot easier, and maybe I'll invest in one of those in the future, but for now, we just got jack stands to work with. Anyway, it's the Thursday after my vacation, and it's time to finish putting the clutch in the E92 and get this going home. I do have quite the list of stuff to get done tonight. Hopefully, I will be able to get that done in like 8 to 10 hours. I don't know how late I'm gonna be here. So transmission's out, everything's down. We gotta put the clutch in. Old clutch is there. New clutch is in this box. So we're gonna start putting it together. Some things I brought with me today is the clutch alignment tool. Now, while I'm not a mechanic at BMW and I don't have access to the hoist and using the shop, they do let me borrow some of these special BMW tools because I'm gonna return them the next day. Also grabbed this plastic pivot point for the transmission as well. Now the selector rod seal is leaking, so I did pick up a new one, and then I also was able to borrow the removal and installation tool for that seal. Also picked up these nice long extensions, so maybe it helps getting those transmission bolts back in. It'll be a little bit easier than when I took it out. Found there's too much flex in this, so when I try to lift up, it just is absorbing that flex and it's not actually lifting up. So hopefully that will help. The next thing is the exhaust. So I've got to heat up and knock out those exhaust studs so that I'm able to put the exhaust back in since I cut those two bottom ones. So my uncle dropped off the torches. So first thing I'm going to do is do the exhaust stuff while the transmission is not in place. Once I get those studs out, I'm going to replace the selector seal, and then we'll put the clutch in place, and then we will put the transmission back up into the car. We'll work on getting the exhaust back up, the drive shaft, all that stuff. Once I've taken care of that, I want to raise up the ride height 1 inch and then also push the oil cooler farther in. It is going to require me taking this duct out and kind of chopping it off a little bit at the back so the oil filter, oil cooler can come closer in. Then after that, we got to put some mesh here, put some mesh on that side. Put the engine bay back together, all that stuff for the engine bay. Probably won't have any extra time after all that stuff, but I got this stuff to put on if I do have extra time. Since I did drive the Turo car here, I can't bring both cars home. Probably come back tomorrow night to pick up the other car. Time to get to work. All right, let's continue on with the E92 update. Thanks to the torches and some fire, we were able to get all that out. All those studs are out. I'll be able to use this bolt kit when I'm putting the exhaust back together. Now it's time to get to work and replace this seal on the selector shaft. Got this special BMW tool. What a beautiful little special tool that made it so much easier to remove. All right, we got the new seal. We're just gonna dab a little bit of transmission oil on there to help it slide in. And put that in there like that. And we got special BMW tool number 2. And the new seal is in. So the next thing to replace is this nipple. You can see how it's ground down on the one side here. So we got a fresh one to go in. All right, now it's time to put the clutch in place. Okay, so the clutch disc is in place. The clutch alignment tool is in there. Now we're gonna put the pressure plate on. All the pressure plates are torqued down, so it's time to remove the self-adjusting clutch blocking plate. Okay, now that the plate is off, we can take the clutch alignment tool out. Clutch alignment tool is out, and it's time to bring the transmission back under. This is where the real fun begins. And now the fun begins. I have a problem getting the transmission lined up. So I asked my uncle to come down and help me, and I figure with both hands we can easily get that lined up. Okay, 2 hours and 20 minutes, and thanks to my uncle's help, we have the transmission in. This straight extension helped out so much because trying to put it back in with that one just was not working at all. The transmission is back in. We're going to put up the brackets. We're going to just tighten everything else up and then get the drive shaft back in and then work on the exhaust. It's 5 o'clock now. We just got the transmission in, so we're going to be here for quite a bit longer getting everything else done. Okay, so I got this bracket back in place. I got this bracket back in place. Got the slave cylinder in. Got the transmission mount in. Got the shifter all back in. Just trying to figure out how all the wiring goes down here so I can tighten it up. Okay, so the drive shaft is back in, heat shield's in place. We're just about to throw the exhaust on. This is one heavy piece, and it's time to put it back up. All right, the exhaust is fully in place. Just gotta finish up top, put all the intake back together, and then also work on the oil cooler. All right, let's continue on with the E92 updates. Okay, so I'm working on the oil cooler. I have pushed it in, test fitted the wheel, that's good. I have pulled out the duct and we pushed it farther in. Now it looks a mess, red spray paint, I don't really care, but what I plan to do is pull this out. So we've got markings kind of here and here. And those are my drips that I know that's where I'm going to be drilling through. We're going to put a bolt through the bumper here and there, and it's going to connect into these brackets right there. And then after that, we'll trim down the air duct so that it fits in. Okay, so I just cut down the air duct so everything is going to fit. Bolts are ready on this side. We're just going to put the oil cooler in place, bolt it all together, and it should be done. All right, bolts are tightened up on the outside and the inside. It's looking pretty good. We can just put the cover back on. All right, so the fender is all back together. Lots of more clearance now. And then I also took the same mesh instead of paying for the plastic actual things in there. I just put some mesh in there, and we'll do a red one on the other side as well. Car is almost ready, but I am running out of time. I'm so dirty. It's 10 o'clock at night. I think I'm just gonna head home, maybe come back Friday or Sunday just to finish up.